Miscast Movie Actors. Who should have played the part? Megan Fox is April O'Neil, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Megan Fox was a weird casting choice for April O'Neil in the Turtles movie due to her limited range in portraying strong, nuanced characters, often relying on her sex appeal rather than depth of performance. April O'Neil has always had an intelligent and courageous persona, and Megan Fox's performance just didn't capture any of that. In fact, her entire portrayal felt superficial. We were watching Megan Fox playing the exact same character she played in Transformers. Perhaps Michael Bay is to blame. On the other hand, I believe Mary Elizabeth Winstead would have made an awesome April O'Neil. She has a proven track record of embodying strong, multifaceted characters. Her performances in films like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and 10 Cloverfield Lane showcase her ability to bring both strength and vulnerability, making her a more suitable fit for the iconic role of April O'Neil. Tom Holland is Nathan Drake, Uncharted. As a huge fan of the Uncharted video games, I was really surprised when they chose Tom Holland for Nathan Drake. Don't get me wrong, I love him as Spiderman, but he's just too young and clean cut for Drake. His portrayal lacked the charm and the ruggedness that made Drake so memorable in the games, and it felt like he didn't quite fit the role. They should have gone with someone older and more seasoned, like Nathan Fillion. If you've seen him in Firefly, you know he nails that adventurous, wisecracking vibe that Drake embodies. It's a shame they didn't pick him. He would have been spot on for the Nathan Drake we know and love from the games. Rosie O'Donnell as Betty Rubble, the Flintstones. I'm not ashamed to admit I had a bit of a crush on Betty Rubble when I was growing up, so you can imagine my shock when it was announced that Rosie O'Donnell would be playing her in the live-action movie. Really? Betty and Wilma were always written as the glamorous, supportive wife-at-home type, the attractive yet unobtainable better half of a work colleague, the, dare I say it, MILFs of Bedrock. Had I been asked at the time who I would want in that role, Rosie O'Donnell wouldn't have even been close to being in my top 10. Thinking about it now, Catherine Zeta-Jones would have been a great Betty Rubble. She is a more accomplished actress and great at playing the flirty, sexy type. She's great at doing accents, and her hair is naturally jet black like Betty's. She also has lots of experience of dinosaurs, if you count her marriage to Michael Douglas. Kevin Hart as Roland, Borderlands. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'll never understand why Hollywood takes already established video game IPs and changes things like they know better than an already existing fanbase. Casting Kevin Hart as Roland in Borderlands was a ridiculous idea. In the video games, Roland is a large, physically imposing soldier with a strong, stoic demeanour. Does any of that sound like Kevin Hart to you? For me, the perfect actor to play Roland would have been Winston Duke. He's a great actor, and we've seen him switch between humorous and serious scenes as M'Baku in the Marvel Universe. He has the intimidating stature to pass as a seasoned mercenary, and to top it off, well, he looks like Roland. Denise Richards as Christmas Jones. The world is not enough. So, let me get this straight. The casting director was looking for someone to play a convincing nuclear physicist, and he thought, Denise Richards, she's perfect. We all know she was hired for the part because of her looks, and I'm not saying smart women can't be beautiful, it's just that Denise Richards' delivery of her lines were so bad that it made the character extremely unbelievable. At times it sounded like she was reading straight from the script. If I had to choose a replacement for Denise Richards, it would be Aishwarya Rai. First, she is a great actress with the ability to convey depth and emotion, which would have brought more credibility to the role of a nuclear physicist. Second, her international appeal and elegance would have added a sophisticated and exotic flair, perfectly fitting the Bond girl persona. I also think her charisma would have created compelling chemistry with Bond, enhancing the overall dynamic of the film. Do you agree with these choices so far, or is there someone that you think we've left off the list? Please let us know in the comments below. Emma Watson as Belle, Beauty and the Beast. I'm certain I'm not the only person submitting this. Emma Watson was an absolutely dreadful choice to play Belle. She only got the part because she was a big name. There is no way she would have got the part if she had auditioned as an unknown. In fact, I doubt she would have even got an audition. Her acting felt wooden and insincere, her singing was bland at best, and if reports are to be believed, she even refused to wear some of the iconic outfits, causing last-minute chaos on set. Finally, the character is called Belle. That literally means beauty in French. I so wish Disney had cast someone like Emmy Rossum. She's roughly the same age as Emma Watson, but unlike Watson, she's an accomplished professional singer with a great resume, including The Phantom of the Opera. She's a convincing actress, traditionally beautiful, and bears a strong resemblance to the animated character. It's disappointing that Disney felt the legacy of the original animation wasn't enough and they needed a big name to sell the live remake. Topher Grace as Eddie Brock, Spider-Man 3. A bad casting choice that always comes to mind is Topher Grace as Eddie Brock in Spider-Man 3. At the time, everyone knew Topher as the geeky, awkward kid Eric on That 70s Show, so it felt almost laughable when they tried to present him as the menacing supervillain Venom. In the comics, Brock was large and muscular, and I think director Sam Raimi chose a smaller framed actor for the movie to present Venom as an evil mirror image to Spider-Man, a yin and yang sort of idea. With that in mind, I would have replaced Topher Grace with Sean William Scott. Scott was a big name at the time due to the American Pie franchise. His character Stifler was larger than life and chaotic, aspects that could have carried over brilliantly to the Venom character. On top of that, he just has a great face for a maniacal alien symbiote. Emelia Clarke is Sarah Connor, Terminator Genisys. Terrible casting? For me it's Emelia Clarke as Sarah Connor in Terminator Genisys. Obviously she was hot property at the time, playing Daenerys in Game of Thrones, but her interpretation lacked the gritty toughness and intensity that always defined Sarah Connor in the Terminator films. Linda Hamilton set the bar high with her badass, tough-as-nails portrayal in T2, and Emelia Clarke is just too cutesy and unbelievable to fill those boots. A better fit would have been Emily Blunt. Remember her performance in Edge of Tomorrow? Now she can play a strong, resilient female character. Blunt's presence and acting ability would have brought the necessary depth and believability to the role of Sarah Connor. Matthew Broderick as Inspector Gadget. Inspector Gadget. Matthew Broderick as Inspector Gadget? Seriously? He just didn't capture the character's quirky charm. We all know Matthew Broderick for his more subdued acting style, which is why his portrayal lacked the comedic flair and larger-than-life energy that Inspector Gadget needed. I would have chosen Adam Sandler. With his knack for physical comedy and over-the-top humour, he would have been perfect for the role. Not to mention, he looks a bit like Inspector Gadget too. Go Gadget, missed opportunity. If you're enjoying this video, please consider giving it a like. Also, please consider subscribing to the channel to help us bring you more videos like this one. Halle Berry as Storm, X-Men. In my opinion, Halle Berry wasn't the best choice to play Storm in the X-Men movies. While she's a great actress, her portrayal didn't capture Storm's commanding presence and regal persona from the comics and the animated series. Angela Bassett, on the other hand, would have been perfect. Bassett's roles in other films such as Black Panther, Malcolm X and Waiting to Exhale shows she can embody strong, complex characters, which is exactly what Storm needed. Storm was always a seriously dramatic character, and I feel Angela Bassett could have brought authenticity and depth to the role that Berry's portrayal didn't quite achieve. It would also be great to finally see the original white costume. Timothée Chalamet as Willy Wonka. Wonka. I may get some hate for saying this, but I just didn't buy Timothée Chalamet as Willy Wonka. Sure, he can sing and dance, but his performance just seemed a bit drama school to me. Unlike the perfect portrayal by Gene Wilder, who could switch from menacing to joyous in the blink of an eye, Chalamet came across as nothing more than a quirky nice guy. Were I to recast the part, I would have chosen Jeremy Allen White. Nobody is going to be as great as Gene Wilder in the part, but as this movie is technically meant to be a prequel, the actor should at least look the part. Jeremy Allen White does bear an uncanny resemblance to Gene Wilder. Could he have played the part any better than Timothée Chalamet though? Probably. Sofia Coppola as Mary Corleone, The Godfather 3. My choice is Sofia Coppola in The Godfather 3. Every time she was on screen, her woeful acting took me right out of the movie. Most people think she got the part because her dad Francis Ford Coppola was directing the movie, but apparently she filled the role last minute when Winona Ryder had to pull out. Regardless, she stuck out like a sore thumb in a movie surrounded by acting greats. We could have seen a great Mary Corleone if Marissa Tomei had been cast. Unlike Sofia Coppola, Tomei was experienced, having a number of film and TV projects under her belt, and at the time she was the perfect age for the character. On top of that, Marissa Tomei's parents are both of Italian descent. Every time I watch the film My Cousin Vinny, I'm reminded of the Mary Corleone we could have had. Steve Martin as Inspector Clouseau, the Pink Panther. Peter Sellers was and always will be Inspector Clouseau, so the fact that they even tried to remake it felt like an insult to the original fans such as myself. It took guts for Steve Martin to attempt to take over the role, but his performance just felt very off. His interpretation failed to capture Clouseau's charm, and any attempt at slapstick felt forced and predictable. There was a serious lack of subtlety in Steve Martin's version of Clouseau, particularly when it came to his French accent, which was at times downright offensive. I would rather Hollywood left Inspector Clouseau alone altogether, but if they were to remake it today, I imagine Sacha Baron Cohen would be the best actor for the job. He has made a career out of roles that require over-the-top humour and physical comedy. His ability to embody eccentric characters with a mix of absurdity and sincerity could bring a fresh and authentic energy to Inspector Clouseau, potentially revitalising the character for modern audiences. Cara Delevingne as Laura Lynn, Valerian in the City of a Thousand Planets. Dear Hollywood, please stop casting Cara Delevingne in movies. First off, her acting felt really stiff and seemed robotic and emotionless. Plus, she's mainly known as a model, and it showed. It was probably just too much of a role for her level of acting. Her performance didn't capture Laura Lynn's strong and dynamic character at all. Worst of all, the chemistry with Dane DeHaan was super flat, which didn't help the story at all. On the flip side, Samara Weaving would have been awesome. She's got solid acting skills and always brings energy to her roles. She's proven she can do action and drama as well. Plus, she would have had better chemistry with DeHaan, making the whole movie more believable. She also has the aesthetic look of Laureline, which I feel is the main reason Cara Delevingne was hired in the first place. Do you agree with the choices? Please let us know in the comments, and please consider subscribing, as it really makes a difference. Thank you.